Story 1. Discovered her cheating today. Don't know how to get closure. Move on. I had been dating my girlfriend for almost exactly 2 months when I discovered that she cheated on me a few days ago. It took a lot of time for me to be comfortable moving into a relationship with her, as I was worried both for the long distance as well as infidelity. She knew that I had dealt with something similar in my last relationship, which was almost 4 years ago, and how it had destroyed my self-esteem and given me relationship anxiety. Despite my worries and need for reassurance, she had been nothing but good to me. When I found out she cheated, I was a wreck. I still am. It sucks. I talked with her for 3 hours, getting all of the information and trying to understand why she did what she did. I still don't know. I think she loved me, maybe still does, but she hurt me in an awful way and made me feel like SHT for questioning her before I told her my proof. I had booked a trip to visit her in her country. It was probably the most insane thing I had ever planned to do in my life, literally the opposite side of the earth. I kept her on the phone while I canceled the flight, the Airbnb, and rescinded my time-off request. I told her some stuff I regret. I told her that I thought she was a bad person and that I hated her. I'm not sure if that's true. A part of me thinks this was her way of ending the relationship as it became more real with the trip planned. We wouldn't have made it. We both knew our cultures were too different, and her family, which she loves, would never have approved. I wanted to make it last as long as we could because we loved each other, but I guess she saw it differently. I don't really know what to do at this point. I'm beside myself with grief and haven't stopped crying unless I started having an anxiety attack. I still love her. I just wanted to put this somewhere where people in similar relationships could give me advice on moving on, as much as I wish I didn't have to. Reader comment: sorry to read you are going through this. It does suck. The thing is, LDR just don't work. If someone tells you that theirs did, there is a good chance that one of them just didn't get caught. You'll bounce back. You're very young and have a whole full life in front of you. Look for something close to you so the stress of a LDR isn't going to a strain on a new relationship. Reader comment: she hurt me in an awful way and made me feel like SHT for questioning her before I told her my proof. This is all you need to know about her character. She would rather you feel horrible than be honest with you. If she's doing this just 2 months into a new relationship, it shows just how ratchet she is. Someday you will look back at this relationship and thank her for showing you who she really is. Reader comment: there are 2 things you need to do. 1. Block her on your phone, email, and all social media platforms so you can't see what she is doing and she can't see what you are doing. 2. Take care of yourself. Healing is a process. Go to the gym. Lean of friends and family. Eat right and stay hydrated. Immerse yourself in school, work, hobbies. Anything that will occupy your brain. I wish you the best. Story 2. I unknowingly saw a swinger. Back in September, I started texting a woman after I broke up with my girlfriend a month earlier. I was just looking for some rebound sex and affection because my ex had left an imprint on me that to this day I haven't fully shaken, not my brightest moment. I'm a heavy dating app user and love Tinder, Bumble, etc., and have had relative success with finding like-minded women after breakups. I was actually using Yik Yak one day in my college town and found a post from a 26F nurse working in a hospice who was looking for a younger guy to experiment with. If you don't know what Yik Yak is, it allows you to see comments posted anonymously within a 5-mile radius called your herd, but you can still DM the OP of a post if you want to chat with them privately. She responded, and the only thing she wanted to know was your body build and age, so I told her everything. She said she was interested and gave me a burner Snapchat account with a low score. I completely thought it was fake but entertained it because I was obviously horny. About 2 months goes by and we're sexting, talking every few days, and she had some odd texting habits. She'd leave me undelivered for 1 to 3 days occasionally, then text back with a plethora of videos and pictures saying she wanted to see me. I'd respond likewise. She was only preoccupied with sex and didn't want to talk about anything in her day-to-day life, which was odd. Most previous hookups I've had at least wanted you to act interested in them and not just their bodies. You're selling them a dream for one night, not just yourself. I decided to meet her right on November 1st. I'd bought a hotel room on the top floor of a nice local hotel because she didn't want to meet at her house and because she promised she'd reimburse me for the cost of the room once she arrived. 7 p.m. rolls around when I told her to arrive, and I hear a knock at the door. It's her, no question, so I guide her by the hand inside and we exchange pleasantries for only a few seconds before ripping each other's clothes off and getting down to business. Here's where the red flags come in that I can't get out of my head. About halfway through the deed, she tells me to record and to take a photo of her. Not to add to a collection. To tell her husband that she made it here safely. She was so preoccupied with meeting me that she skipped telling me she was married and went straight into having sex. I immediately started questioning if she was being honest. If she is married, is she really a swinger? Is her husband tracking her phone and about to start frantically knocking on my hotel room door? Does she have any STDs? What else has she lied to me about? I couldn't continue after she took those photos of her on me. I faked an orgasm a couple minutes later and started asking her a bunch of questions while we cuddled. Just this month, I learned from a friend who has slept with the husband and figured out their real identity, that not only is she a swinger, but that I knew her husband and he had given her the okay to sleep with me without my knowledge. I've been completely disgusted with myself for the past few months, and I think about this awful experience every day. It affected my performance in the bedroom around girls I actually liked, because now I feel as if there is no way to genuinely know if they like me or not. It changed the way I view marriage as a whole. Why even get married in the first place if you desire other people's intimacy and their bodies and have decided on never having children? Is it the ability to carry on a double life and be viewed as normal by the rest of society? It's obvious that there was no love there, because she denigrated her own husband in bed after we were finished and said she hates not being able to break the rules they have in place. No kissing, no cuddling, no staying the night, and no orgasming inside her. The no kissing and cuddling rules were broken before I even knew there were rules to begin with. It utterly disgusts me how someone could go through with this and not even tell the person they were having sex with until you were in the act, as if they were wanting to involve me in their fetish without my consent. There's so much more that I haven't included in this story, but just know that it was the husband's idea to start introducing other people, and now they're getting a divorce according to mutual friends and their Facebook profile, because the husband found a more beautiful younger woman to have sex with, which he was able to convince to get married after their divorce. Story 3. Quick question about blame shifting. Am I in the wrong? Was telling WW girlfriend about not feeling heard and wanting communication to be Morris versus the problem. She had a pregnancy removal 2 months prior to ONS. She said in response that I heard her twice and communication is never about her feelings. First time she said she was hurting emotionally after the pregnancy removal. I was there for her every day, being Superman with no issues of my own during pregnancy, leading up to and during the pregnancy removal. She says I abandoned her by not holding her and telling her what she wanted to hear afterwards when she told me she felt awful for making that choice. She says I stopped being there the same way after while she suffered. I recognized her feelings and told her I did not know at the time she felt this level and I didn't know how to be there for her, and I feel awful about it and want to help her any way I can. Essentially, she has held this against me, leading to ONS and being cold after D-Day. The other is a night recently. She hasn't been intimate with me since the pregnancy removal and D-Day. We were watching a show when I asked to cuddle and later kiss. She said yes to both. I kissed her 3 times that night. She was noticeable uncomfortable and I asked if she was okay. She told me the idea of sex made her uncomfortable and I said I understand and we can stop. I told her I had felt unwanted or not good enough because of our lack of touch, but I understood why we were not. I left and she texted me saying I pushed her boundaries and made her feel the same way she felt when she was assaulted as a teenager. I felt awful and told her not to blame herself and validated her feelings because trauma is serious and I don't want her feeling bad. She said in our discussion today I hurt her and she feels less safe around me. She says, yes, I cheated and I am sorry, but we are both hurting and it always seems to be about your feelings and I have to suck it up and put myself to the side while you throw it in my face. She is now mad at me. She says she wishes she didn't love me sometimes because of what she went through. Is this blame shifting? I try to communicate my sorry and remorse and willingness to make her feel seen, but I also feel invalidated, especially considering I am now the bad guy in my own suffering. Please help. Reader comment, she is hurting. And hurting a lot. But it also appears that she isn't processing things well, projecting onto you. It also sounds like she's not comfortable and/or hasn't processed her choice that she made. Which is understandable. It's hard. However, she needs to get the professional help to help her through it, otherwise her anger will be outwards towards others and yes, even blame shifting. Blame shifting will happen with anger and not being able to process it. Even unintentional, as I know I have done that during breaking down and crying with situations prior to affairs. It wasn't intentional. I just had no idea of how to cope with what I was going through nor communicate it in a way that was healthy for anyone. I fully understand that she has gone through a lot, but so have you. And from what you say above, it feels like there is little space for you and your emotions feelings right now. Are you both in IC? Original poster, I am. She does not have the resources to, but I have offered to pay for IC, which she is not sure if she is comfortable accepting. I have complied a list of places accepting clients for her when she decides to take that step. My focus has been to heal her since it happened. She is in a deep depression since all the above, plus her family cutting her out and living paycheck to paycheck on top of it. I would have left if I didn't genuinely care about her as a person and if she had other reliable supports. She has friends, but they encourage the cheating and frankly are incredibly destructive with their own behaviors, coping mechanisms. She deserves someone who will love her regardless of what she gives in return. I know that isn't fair to me, but I have that in my mom. She had an abusive mother and never experienced that. I want her to have a fighting shot at happiness with or without me. Don't light yourself on fire to keep another person warm, but I don't know if I could live with myself when I see how trauma-linked her actions are compared to who she really is and leaving anyway. Reader comment, she has trauma that isn't dealt with from a pregnancy removal, which is traumatic. I'm not excusing her cheating. She is likely projecting intimacy of any kind with you to that trauma. She ended up pregnant once and is afraid it will happen again, and her way of protecting herself is to close off herself. I'm not sure I would categorize this as blame shifting as much as trauma she desperately needs help with. Then once that's dealt with, you can deal with the ONS. Original poster, this is how I am trying to approach it. Getting her into therapy and working on trauma. It is hard to put my feelings aside until then, but she deserves it even if she has not been a partner the last few months.